If I gave you $1 million today, most people would think their problems are over. But statistically, a shocking number of lottery winners end up broke again. Not because they're not smart, not because they're lazy, but because they never escaped the system that trained them to stay poor. And that system, it starts long before adulthood, long before debt, long before bills, long before investing. It starts with something almost nobody talks about, the normalization of financial struggle. And once you see it, you can never unsee it. Welcome back to Smart Money Compounds. If you've ever felt like no matter how hard you work, no matter how much you try to save, no matter how many raises you get, you still feel financially trapped, this video is going to hit different. Because today we're exposing the invisible system that makes poverty feel normal and why millions of people unknowingly defend the exact habits keeping them broke. Stay until the end, because I'm going to show you the psychological shift that separates people who stay stuck forever from people who quietly build wealth in the background while everyone else stays distracted. And trust me, once your brain makes this shift, your entire financial future changes. Here's the scary part. The system doesn't actually need you to be poor forever. It just needs you financially dependent long enough. Long enough to stay stressed, stay distracted, stay consuming, stay working, and stay needing the next paycheck. That's it. Think about modern life for a second. You wake up exhausted, rush to work, trade your time for money, come home mentally drained. Then what happens? You consume. Food delivery, streaming, impulse purchases, cheap dopamine, weekend spending, treat yourself culture. Then Monday starts again. And because everybody around you is doing the exact same thing, it feels normal. That's the trap. Most financial prisons don't feel like prisons. They feel like regular life. Nobody announces financial struggle anymore. People finance it. The broke person today doesn't always look broke. They have the car, the clothes, the vacations, the newest phone, and the apartment they can barely afford. Because modern debt hides financial reality. A person with $400 in savings, $22,000 in credit card debt, zero investments, and no emergency fund can still look successful online. And that illusion is destroying people. Because now everyone compares themselves to fake financial stability. Social media turned struggling into performance art. People are financing lifestyles they secretly cannot afford, just to avoid feeling behind. And the craziest part? Society rewards it. Nobody compliments your emergency fund, your index funds, your low debt, or your consistency. But buy a luxury car you can't afford. Everybody notices. That's why wealth building feels lonely in the beginning. Real wealth is usually invisible. Fake wealth is loud. You know the phrase that quietly destroys financial futures? This is just how life is. That sentence kills ambition. Because once struggle feels normal, you stop questioning it. You stop asking, why am I always stressed? Why does every raise disappear? Why do I feel broke making more money? Why does retirement seem impossible? You adapt to survival mode. And humans adapt fast. A person drowning in debt for 10 years starts seeing debt as a normal part of life. Someone living paycheck to paycheck for decades begins believing saving money is unrealistic. But here's the truth. Most financial problems are not caused by income alone. They're caused by invisible systems, lifestyle inflation, emotional spending, financial conditioning, comparison culture, and lack of long-term thinking. The average person increases spending every time income increases. That means raises don't create freedom. They create upgraded bills. And upgraded bills create upgraded pressure. One of the biggest mistakes people make is trying to look financially successful before becoming financially secure. That's backwards. Real wealth is built quietly first. Think about this. If two people make the same income, one buys status symbols immediately, the other buys assets quietly. 10 years later, their lives look completely different. One has payment stress, financial pressure, anxiety, and no freedom. The other has investment options, cash flow, flexibility, and time. And here's the painful part. At first, the spender usually looks more successful. That's why delayed gratification is so powerful. Most people cannot emotionally tolerate looking average temporarily to become financially free later. They want visible rewards immediately. But wealth compounds in silence. Debt compounds loudly. Most purchases are emotional, not logical. People buy comfort, identity, validation, escape, status, and distraction. That's why financial advice alone usually fails. Because money problems are often emotional behavior problems disguised as math problems. A stressed person spends differently. An insecure person spends differently. A bored person spends differently. A lonely person spends differently. Corporations understand this perfectly. That's why modern marketing is psychological warfare. Everything is engineered to make you feel incomplete, behind, unattractive, unsuccessful, and left out. Because emotionally uncomfortable people consume more. And the algorithm never sleeps. Every scroll creates temptation. Every ad creates comparison. Every influencer creates pressure. The average person is fighting billion-dollar systems with zero awareness. And that's why discipline matters more now than ever before. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people do not escape financial struggle because they never fully change their identity. They want different results without becoming different people. But wealth building requires identity shifts. You must become more patient, more disciplined, less emotional, less impulsive, and more future-focused. And that transformation is uncomfortable. Because you start living differently than the people around you. Suddenly you stop overspending. You stop chasing trends. You stop caring about appearances. And you stop trying to impress people. And some people won't understand it. They'll call you cheap, boring, obsessed, or too serious. Meanwhile, those same people are drowning financially behind closed doors. Never let financially stressed people shame you for becoming disciplined. There's a moment that changes almost every future wealthy person. It's not when they make more money. It's not when they invest for the first time. It's when they finally realize, no one is coming to save me financially. That realization changes everything. Because then excuses shrink, awareness increases, and intentionality begins. You stop hoping. You start building. You stop reacting financially. You start planning financially. And little by little, your entire life changes. At first, the progress feels invisible. That's the hard part. Because early wealth building is painfully boring. Nobody claps when you pay off debt, automate investments, build emergency savings, or skip unnecessary purchases. But those boring actions are exactly what create freedom later. People underestimate small decisions because they don't create instant results. But compounding is slow, until suddenly it isn't. A person saving and investing consistently for years may look behind socially at first. Then one day they own assets, their investments produce income, their stress decreases, and their options expand. While everyone else is still trapped in the same cycle. The difference? Tiny repeated decisions. Not luck. Not magic. Not overnight success. Consistency beats intensity in personal finance. Every single time. One of the biggest lies people believe is, I'll focus on money later, but later turns into more bills, more responsibilities, more obligations, and more financial pressure. Time matters more than perfection, especially with investing. Most people dramatically underestimate what consistent investing can become over decades. Even modest amounts invested consistently can snowball into life-changing money because compounding rewards time more than intensity. But time only helps people who start. And sadly, most people delay building wealth because they think they need huge income, perfect timing, or advanced knowledge. You don't. You need consistency. That's it. The people who escape financial struggle usually do a few things differently. They question normal behavior, stop trying to look rich, build systems, think long-term, control lifestyle inflation, and prioritize assets over appearances. And most importantly, they become intentional. Because accidental wealth is rare, intentional wealth compounds. Slowly, quietly, powerfully. If this video changed the way you think about money, that's the point. Because the first step to financial freedom is seeing the system clearly. Most people stay trapped because they think financial stress is normal. It doesn't have to be. And if you're willing to think differently, move differently, and stay consistent longer than most people, your future can look completely different from your present. If you enjoyed this episode of Smart Money Compounds, like this video, share it with someone stuck in the paycheck-to-paycheck cycle. Comment the word freedom if you're building wealth differently, and subscribe for more videos exposing the financial systems keeping people trapped. Because here at Smart Money Compounds, we don't chase fake wealth. We build real freedom.